There's a moment, and if you've been through it with someone you love, you know the one, where a doctor says the words and the room just changes. Everything after that feels uncertain, scary, and if someone mentions hospice, it can feel like the conversation is already over. But what if that's not the whole story? Today, we're talking with a hospice nurse, not about death, or at least not only about that. We're talking about what she actually does when she walks through a family's door, what she carries with her, why she chose this work, and what she's seen that the rest of us don't get to see. People held with dignity in their final days, families who felt supported instead of abandoned, moments of unexpected peace. She's going to challenge some things you think you know about hospice, about what giving up really means, and about what it looks like when someone truly stays. I'm Miranda Lindsay, and this is It's More Than You Think, Hospice Honestly. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us to change the narrative about hospice. I know you. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
I do. My name's Stephanie Mole. I'm a hospice nurse, and I've been knowing Miranda for years, and this is what I do.
It is what you do. So, what you do, can you explain the role of a hospice nurse and how it differs from other parts of the team?
Yes. So, as a nurse, our main role is to assess not just the patient, we assess family, we assess the situation, we assess needs. Um, Needs could be medical needs, spiritual needs, psychological needs, and emotional support needs. And that's when we call in the rest of the team when after we assess. So it's not just nurses do nursing things and that is it.
How is nursing in hospice different than regular nursing?
So hospice nursing is it's actually total opposite of other nursing. E- every other nurse in the world besides a hospice nurse, you want to save, you want to fix, you want to mend, emergency room, everything is hurried up and let's fix this. A pediatrician's office, you want to make the kids better and, get them back to their normal self in a week. Hospice nursing is we know there that we cannot fix the terminal illness. There's no fixing and getting back to whatever the norm for that person is. But what we can do in hospice is we can let them live until they don't. Um, and what I mean by that is we treat symptoms. If they are in a pain crisis, then we treat the pain. If they are short of breath, then we treat that. If they are emotionally distraught, we treat that. We know that we're not fixing and he's going to live happily ever after without the disease that he came on hospice with. And it is hard to switch if you've been a nurse doing other things and you come to hospice. There is still a part of you that wants to fix. And I've been doing this, gosh, almost, I don't know, 20 years. And and I still want to fix at times, but then I have to wrap my mind around I am fixing. I'm fixing to prepare for his journey to the end or her journey to the end.
So not here to heal as like most normal nurses
Correct.
would do. You're not here to heal that person as they walk their journey, but you're here to make their quality of life the best that it can be.
Absolutely. It's no longer about quantity. Although there's no pinpoint of when the end is, um, you have to have 6 months or less left if the disease is not treated. However, none of us know what that really looks like.
Sure.
It could be a year, it could be 2 years. Um, but we stick on the journey with them through that time, and it's the best end of journey. Because we can treat symptoms that the doctors and nurses and hospitals are limited.
Mhm.
Um, we we have a wider range of things that we can do to help them feel better and live the best quality for the rest of the time that they do have here.
Let's jump in. Misconceptions
Mm,
about hospice.
hmm.
It's our favorite topic, right?
Absolutely.
Give us some common misconceptions that you deal with on a regular basis. Both good misconceptions, but also the bad. Like give us both. Like what do people think hospice is that it isn't, and what isn't it that people think it is?
Okay. Um, let's start with the bad misconceptions. It's, I like to call it the H word because people just run in the different direction when you say hospice. Um, Big misconception is my family member doesn't need hospice right now. They're not dying tomorrow, but they do need hospice.
Hmm.
And they probably won't die tomorrow. But that's when we want to get them on service so they can benefit from what hospice really is. The misconception of hospice is no one really knows what it is. They think that it's for the last few days of life, that we remove all medications, we only give morphine, and they will pass away in a day or two after they come on service. That is such a huge misconception. And if I could stand on a soapbox in the middle of every parish and give the speech that y'all are all wrong, please listen to what we really do. Um, I would love that.
So
If
you think most people, maybe the misconception is hospice is a death sentence.
Absolutely. And they say that.
Hmm.
Not only families, the patients. When we talk to patients who, you know, they went to the doctor and they were told there's nothing more we can do, we think you should reach out to hospice. And well, I'm not ready for the death sentence. If they would just give me 30 minutes of their time, everybody in the family would want to be on hospice. It is, it's an earned Medicare benefit that we've all worked for. And it's so underutilized and it's so beneficial. Um, Not only are we there for nursing, we're there for spiritual needs, we're there for the social worker needs. We have bath aides, we have volunteers, we have a whole team that jump in and take care of you and and give you the best quality with dignity. And actually, a lot of patients, when they come on service, because we can do more things than that's allowed, like in home health or a doctor just ordering something for a patient at home, we actually get them feeling so much better that the quality is amazing. And that's what makes me happy. When, you see a patient who didn't even want to listen to the conversation, but you finally got them to listen or the family to listen. And you tell them all of the benefits. And why would you not want us to come in and help you? And then to see them thrive and have the best last however much time of their life is amazing.
So you mentioned one of my favorite words at the end of life, and that's dignity.
Hmm.
It's so, so important to me. What do you do for both the patient and the family to ensure not just dignity at the end of life, but also comfort?
And that differs, if a patient is able to communicate or if
Mhm.
a patient is not able to communicate. But that doesn't mean they both don't deserve dignity. They do. If a patient is able to talk, then we can talk about what do you want and how have you lived your life and what expectations do you have? What religious beliefs do you have? A lot of people have things that they want done. Um, we need to know those things. Um, but no matter the life they've lived or the life they think that they live, that they don't deserve dignity. I just met them. I'm here to take care of you. So in my eyes, you deserve to be taken care of with comfort and dignity. And comfort means a lot of things also. It's
Mhm.
not just pain. Um, Comfort could be shortness of breath, it can be anxiety, it can be family issues that are unresolved. It can, be things that you think you haven't been forgiven for in the past. All of those things are considered comfort measures. And so, my opinion of making them comfortable and have dignity is to help them work through that. It's not just taking vital signs and giving medication. It's the whole package. Listening, listening to they just need to talk
It can
and
be an
listen.
ice cream sandwich at 3 a.m.
Well, a lot of times it is.
Mhm.
I've never done an ice cream sandwich at 3 a.m., but I have run through McDonald's at 3 a.m. because they just needed to talk.
Yeah,
So
just give it to them.
bring coffee and talk.
How do you, as a nurse, educate and support family members who are walking this journey with their loved one?
So, the first thing that I always tell families when we admit a patient to hospice is you are not alone. When you sign this paperwork to agree to hospice care, you have just agreed to get adopting a new family. We truly hold their hand through every step of the way, no matter what it is, until the end. And then when that patient passes, we continue to hold their hand and give them what they need for however long it is. We usually keep in touch for about a year, but some go a lot longer depending on their needs. But we are here for it's not just the patient, it's a package deal. We take care of the entire family.
And I think that may be also a common misconception. Like hospice is not just for the patient, it's for the family because
Absolutely.
this is a journey for the whole family, not just that specific patient. Um, so in the dying process, how do you work with your team to help families understand the dying process? Because communication is key in what we're all doing. So educating them through communication on what is happening. How do you work with your team for that?
So every 2 weeks, we have a team meeting, and all disciplines show up for the meeting, which is social worker, chaplain, nurses, aides, the doctor, our medical branch director. Um, and we go over every patient. We discuss their needs, changes, med changes. Do we need to increase chaplain? Or if it's a patient who said, we don't really need a chaplain, we have our own chaplain. And then I think maybe they might could benefit from our chaplain. We get them involved, social worker. A lot of patients, one misconception, going back to that, not about hospice, about our social worker is, I don't need a social worker. I'm not depressed. I'm not crazy. But that is not what our social worker, oh, that's not her title. She's not, social worker for craziness. She actually has a lot of resources. She is our main resource person for families and patients. Um, some patients are veterans and they have no idea that they have extra benefits from being a veteran. They may qualify for a few hours of a sitter service through the VA a week, or um, maybe the family is at the point where they can't take care of this patient at home anymore. Well, we need to come up with something as a team. So that's when again I would reach out to the social worker. She has resources. She can find out if the patient qualifies for Medicaid. If they qualify for Medicaid room and board, then we can find nursing home placement. If the patient, owns a home and the family decides they want to sell it, then they can use that money towards an assisted living, and we can, provide services in the assisted living, and the family wouldn't have to take care of the patient.
And that takes the responsibility, not wholly, but a large part of that from the family
Yes.
to allow others to help them care for their loved one.
Yes. So we do very much work as a team. We communicate not only every 2 weeks, but daily
Mhm.
when we see the patients. We give a report, and if I feel like, the aide needs to go more times a week, then I would put that in the report. We would change the care plan and the aide would go more times a week. So communication is huge. And a lot of times it's important because the family or the patient might communicate something with the nurse, but then when the aide goes in, it's a totally different story. And then the social worker goes for her visit and it's a totally different story. So then we all get together, put our stories together and figure out, how can we help this? What would he benefit or she would benefit from the most?
So giving your so much of yourself to what you do and to these other families, how do you protect or help your own self-care, mental health care? What do you do?
Well, sometimes I do a lot of crying in driveways. Um,
Valid.
And it's okay. I mean, the last thing I want is to cry in a patient's home and have the family consoling me. So I hold it together, get in the driveway and shed a few tears sometimes. Our social worker is amazing and our chaplain is amazing, and they offer support for us at any time. We could call them at 3 a.m. and say, look, I'm in a bad spot. This patient's declining. I'm having a hard time with it. Or I just, my schedule turned out where all my patients this week, I've had 3 deaths every 3 days in a row, and it's hard to cope. And, and we talk through it and we pray. I think prayer is the most important thing in hospice. And whether you are religious person or not a religious person, um, prayer is important. It helps.
Definitely. It's a big, big part of what we all do, for sure.
And we also have to figure out, you know, we have to separate work from family time. So that's a big part, which doesn't happen all the time. 5 o'clock is never 5 o'clock. So
Never.
we are 24/7. We tell that to our families. So we do have an on-call nurse, but sometimes they don't want to reach out to the on-call nurse because
You've built a relationship.
correct.
Yes.
And it is what it is because that's what I choose to do.
What do you wish more families truly understood about hospice?
Before coming on hospice,
Yeah.
like trying to get them to understand
Mhm.
um, that the benefits are tremendous. Um, you know, before somebody comes on hospice, a lot of the times their condition is declining. So they're looking for DME equipment. Insurance companies don't just outright pay for that. They have to rent it until they own it. The doctor has to write an order for it. It has to be the correct diagnosis for the insurance to pick it up. It's just a laundry list of things that make it hard for families. And when you're on hospice, we just order all the DME. It comes along with the hospice Medicare benefit.
Just shows up at your door.
Shows up at your door, whether you want it or not. You will use it when it gets there,
Mhm.
even though we don't need that. We don't need that. We order it, and the next day they're using it. So the resources are tremendous, and we can help sort out medications. Some patients have multiple physicians, not just a primary care. So their med list is tremendous. And this doctor might not really know why this doctor ordered that for you. And, but you're having side effects. So I'm going to order this. And it just, it never ends. So we go in and we reconcile medication.
Streamline things.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't just take it away.
Right.
We're never going to do that. That's the patient's right to continue any medication. Now, there are some medications that are not hospice formulary, um, and we explain to them why they're not beneficial at this time. They can still choose to take it. That's their right. But every hospice nurse that I've encountered over my years of working, we're all very honest. We want to benefit the patient.
How has your perspective on life and death changed since becoming a hospice nurse?
I feel like I have matured tremendously. Um, I never really, nursing in other fields, I'd never really thought about the the death and dying process because it was always save, save, save. So I didn't even think about it for myself. Um, I value life. I think life should be lived like tomorrow is your last day. And if you are at peace with yourself and how you live your life, then your death is going to be a beautiful journey.
And it can be.
And
Should
I
be.
see it all the time. Beautiful journey. And that's the main thing that I like to tell families. We give them a book that walks them through the whole dying process so they can kind of keep track, even though we tell them, we feel like they're at this stage or this stage, after we do an assessment. We give them the book so they can thumb through it and see where the stages are. And they can also enjoy the beauty of watching their loved one pass away with comfort and dignity.
Final thoughts. Anything else you want to share?
I definitely think that hospice is underutilized, and I think it's an educational deficit on what hospice really is and what it does. It's an amazing benefit. We there we never get patients when we should to start treating them, and there's so much more to life for them by coming on hospice before their journey ends.
Thank you. Thank you for walking so many families to the end journey and for what you do. And I'm gonna cry.
Don't.
Thank you.
It is my passion. And okay.
You made it all the way through.
Mhm.
I'm so proud of you. Again, I'm Miranda Lindsay. Thank you for tuning into our episode. We'll see you next time.